Welcome, race fans, and happy Wednesday night. Welcome to Summit Point Raceway, Summit Point, USA for the WDCR SCCA MX-5 series, live here on Sim Racing Streams. My name is Kyle Stretchers. I will be your commentator tonight, and we are here for one action-packed 25-minute race. First race of this series that I will be broadcasting. This race will be broadcasted, or the series will be broadcasted every Wednesday night for the next 5 weeks, but I will miss out next week. I will be on vacation, so unfortunately will not be able to cover the race at VIR, but I will be back for the next 3 weeks after that, so going to be a fun league, and there's actually a lot of interesting things about this league, so I'll get to cover them in the pre-race show here. So yeah, folks, just grab something to drink, some popcorn, and enjoy the race. Alrighty, folks, so now the WDCR SCCA series, kind of a tongue twister, is a league based on, well, basically to join you have to have a membership to the SCCA in the Washington, D.C. region, which is actually pretty cool, kind of close to me. I'm actually a member of the Western New York SCCA region. So SCCA, Sports Car Club of America, one of the biggest club racing organizations pretty much in the world. It's kind of where all the pro drivers get their start. Perfect example, running in this car in real life, Glenn McGee running in the Global MX-5 Cup. That is an SCCA sanctioned series. So it's pretty cool to see these guys who are all SCCA members getting out here tonight to compete virtually instead of real life. And now this will follow, I don't have the notes here, but it will follow the Midwestern schedule, so we'll be having multiple races. Summit Point, we're at tonight, VIR, Watkins Glen, tracks like that in that area, Eastern United States. So going to be a fun one as we move into qualifying here. Pretty big field tonight. We got 28 cars on the grid tonight, so should be one interesting one as we have 15 minutes of open qualifying set to get down here. So as all the cars head out on the track here, again, let's pull up our track facts. So again, this is Summit Points Raceway. This is the full configuration. This track has 4 different configurations in iRacing. One configuration with the straightaway pretty much cut in half and a hard right-hander, and the Jefferson course, which is pretty interesting. It's an entirely different track. You can kind of see it when they come through turn 1, and that is there's a forward version and a reverse version of that track. So 4 different configurations at Summit Point. Again, we are on the main track here. 1.988 miles. Going to be a little bit warm this evening. 109 or 103.66 degrees Fahrenheit track temp. We're at an altitude of 629.62 feet and 10 turns on this 2-mile road circuit. Let me just refresh my paint schemes here. Having issues with trading paint as well as the server issue I had when I started in here. So, let that refresh here. So now, starting with the new league, this is the first race. I'm kind of new to all the drivers here, so if I mispronounce anyone's name, I apologize. And don't really know any of the drivers by numbers yet. But currently sitting on top in qualifying is Michael Monaghan. with a 126 flat. And the number 05 machine here. Now again, I'd assume that there's, again, this is an SCCA group. I'd assume that David has invited a lot of you guys to come in tonight, but basically the Mazda MX-5, for those who don't know, this is the starter car within iRacing, and it's the car that, you know, everyone starts off in. You start off in rookies running the official series and the Global MX-5 Cup. It's a great car, great touring car to learn how to, you know, feel your way through the iRacing service, and, you know, learn how to drive a car, because this car can be one difficult car to drive. Then after this, you can move up into multiple open wheel sports car type series racing. So, but this is the first big stepping stone of anyone's iRacing career, on the road side, that is. On the oval side, different story. Carter Whedon, now in the 22. He is now sitting on pole with a 123.648. Feel free to smash that thumbs up button. It helps us out here. Telling me that you guys are enjoying the stream. Also, feel free to subscribe. Generally, I broadcast another series, the ASRC, Associated Sim Racing Club Sports Car Series. That's kind of a different type of racing. We got sports car multi-class, 3 classes, Prototype, Daytona Prototype, and GT3, so feel free to subscribe to that. That race is Monday, or the 2nd and 4th Mondays of every month, live at Sim Racing streams around the same time, so it's pretty cool that both these series fall around in the same time slot. Jeff Jacobs currently in 2nd place of qualifying with a 123.790. So let's actually find a guy who is coming across the line right now so we can ride in a lap around Summit Point. Got Richard Johnson. Let's hop in his car and see what he can see. So here we go, coming into turn 1. Harder right-hander. As you push up through this little high-speed section, a little bit of a right kink, and into the left-hander right here. Seems like a pretty open corner, but you really got to let off the gas through here to not go off in the sand trap there. As you can see, one car going off in front of him. Oh, we got a little bit of contact. Now, luckily, this is iRacing, and you get unlimited cars, so it's a good thing. Anyways, let's continue with our lap here. Here's Zachary Rubin, picking up from the section where the last car crashed. Coming through this section, which I kind of call the field because it's a really open section of the track. You can really see all the grass and whatnot. So a lot of run-up area, not a lot of room for mistakes. The tough right-hander up through here, pretty much full on the throttle. Accelerate out hard through here and into the last turn. Again, this turn seems like it's a fast turn, but you have to hit the brakes to get around this guy. And that is a lap around Summit Point Raceway in the Global MX-5 Cup car. So we are halfway through this qualifying session. We will move right into the race after this. Again, a massive field. And we have 27 cars registered. Excluding myself, I accidentally joined as a driver instead of a broadcaster, so that's my fault there. But 27 MX-5s, and you know, these guys are all SCCA members, so hopefully won't be seeing as many wrecks and spins as we normally see in the rookie series here in iRacing. Now again, the race is 25 minutes. So, sprint race, so you want to get up to the front as fast as possible to contend for the win tonight. Gary Schneck put down a 1:23.803. He is now on pole in the number 25 machine. As he's getting a little bit sideways coming on that last turn into the grass. And he saves it through there. Going to be seeing a lot of loose cars. Again, this track temp is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's going to be really slippery out there. And now the series is fixed, so basically that means that every single car on this track has the same setup, so it's all driver, no setup. So that setup's almost the great equalizer. Take a peek at our top 5 right now as it sits in qualifying. Eric Jones currently sitting on pole at the 1:23.44. Carter Whedon, followed by Jeff Jacobs, Kahil Naturboff, and Gary Schneck are your top 5s. Again, I apologize if I butcher your name. Again, I'm new to broadcasting the series. This is actually a new series. This is the first race, and this is actually a crazy turnout for their first race. So it looks, I am thinking we are going to see a action-packed race tonight. As we come down to 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, as the session's about to come to a close here. Pretty big pack of cars we got here. Like we got 4 of them all within a second of each other. Good to see a little bit of pack racing before the race gets going here. Leading that pack, we have the number 21 of Jacob Hunt. Currently sitting 18th place. Feel free to chat in the chat over there. Doesn't hurt to say something, ask a question. Probably someone in the chat is probably an iRacer, they can answer it, or even I'm checking over the chat occasionally and I can answer the questions. So pretty much any questions, any comments on how the broadcast is going, feel free to put them in those comments section to the right of the video. And John Grift in the Goonies car, currently sitting 20th with a 1:25.480. Take a peek at this weather here before we get green flag racing today. .01 degrees out, track temp 103. Like I said, very slippery track temp, 55% humidity, and it is partly cloudy here in Summit Point. And the times as they come in, they are pretty close. Now, Eric Jones only has about a 2/10 of a second pull over Carter Whedon. And you can see how close these guys are getting, less than a bumper length in between the 51 and 56 car. And looks like the cars will be coming around to get their flyer lap. I do believe when this track closes, they have basically how it works. They have to cross the line before the timer hits 0. Then after that, they have a minute to complete a flyer lap, or a minute or 2 minutes, somewhere along those lines. Yeah, Bruce, no problem. And folks, before we change over sessions here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, I do 5 or 6 live commentated broadcasts a month on iRacing. Also do some team stuff and whatnot with my race team, ClanOD.net. We stream all of our endurance events on sim racing streams. We had some issues with the Daytona 24-hour. It's still processing. It's a 24-hour live stream. That went pretty well. So yeah, Sebring 12-hour coming up, and make sure you check out that live stream, which will probably be on sim racing streams. So as we are finishing the session here, we are going to get ready to grid up. Now, I'm not sure if this is a rolling start or a standing start. I have no idea if this is standing start or not. I guess it'll be a surprise to me, to be honest. But got a minute 13 remaining in the session here before it's minute left here, and should be getting ready to grid. Like, we have no more. Oh, we got a few cars on track. And looks like we have Bill Keeney, 26 car. Only car left. He's currently sitting 16th in qualifying. And looks like he's going to pull it off, reset the car, put it in pit lane. And folks, we are getting ready to go green flag racing for 25 minutes at Summit Point Raceway. Again, folks, this is the Washington, D.C. region SCCA Global MX-5 Cup. Once again, broadcasted live on sim racing streams as we are set. Cars getting ready to grid for 25 minutes of action-packed racing. And cars should start to grid here. And we will run through starting lineup. Once all the cars get girded up here. Again, we are set for 25 minutes. Cars have a minute 30 to hop on the grid, so they can use the bathroom, get a drink of water, whatever. And then we should be getting ready to go green flag racing here at Summit Point. And we have a beautiful aerial shot. This camera pack is courtesy of Global Sim Racing Channel. They upload all their camera packs to the forums. I grabbed this one and it is beautiful. We have one heck of a shot here of the entire circuit. Alright, so we are looking at, people in chat are saying they believe it is a rolling start. But let's get down to the start-finish line and run through our... No, it is a standing start, so I got 49 seconds to run through this here. Okay, Eric Jones on pole, followed by Mike Kelly, Carter Whedon, Jeff Jacobs in 4th. 5th, Zachary Rubin. 6th, Kahil Natrahoff. 7th, Gary Schneck. 8th, Mark Wood. 9th, Peter Ensor. 10th, Shane Johnson. 11th, Michael Monahan. 12th, Darren Treacle. 13th, Travis Trussell. 14th, Louis Alessi. 15th, Mark Philcroft. 16th, Bill Keeney. 17th, Dave Fitzgerald. 18th, Norbert Pizcall. 19th, Louis Gavagano. Jacob Hunt in 20th. 21st, Jacob Johnson, or Richard Johnson. John Griffin in 22nd. 23rd, Jim Karamis. 24th, Jonathan Merchson. 25th, DJ Powell. And that's it here for the grid. And we are getting ready to go green flag racing as lights are on. And waiting for that green flag. And green flag is off here at Summit Point Raceway for 25 minutes. Oh, looks like we have someone getting not so good of a start as we're coming into turn 1 here. Pretty huge size field as they all come into turn 1 here. And looks like they make it all through here cleanly. Huge pack as we come up through here. Travis Trussell just getting to the line. Had a bad start for him. Back up front, going to take us a minute here for the overlays to set into race mode here. But Mike Kelly off to a pretty big lead already. Looks like got 10 car lengths almost. And so, good start by him. As I'm hearing some contact back there. Looks like just some beating and banging. I don't see any cars spun around. Looks like we do have one. Jim Caramoose, a little bit of blinking action through there. Let's rewind here and take a look at the replay. Not going to have a lot of time for replays here. Again, there are no cautions. But this is Jim Caramanus. His crash coming into the right-hander here. Oh, looks like he just gets punted into and spins out. That's going to ruin his day. But let's get back up live here. Eric Jones saying he's still the leader here, but I do not think that's true. And Mike Kelly. And the overlay set in here. Mike Kelly is the leader, swerving back and forth a little bit, followed by Carter Whedon in 2nd. Huge field coming into turn 1. You can really see how big this pack is, and it's already starting to string out. It's like Gary Schneck and Zachary Rubin are battling for that 5th position. Coming up to turn 2, look, they are back in single file, but they are pretty close. You can see how this has major bumper-to-bumper action here, as we are only 2 minutes into tonight's race. Mike Kelly, still the leader here after 1.5 laps of competition, but Carter Whedon has closed that 10 car length gap, and he's gaining on him. Jeff Jacobs in 3rd. 4th, Kahil Natraboff. Again, I apologize if I'm butchering these names here. But Mike Kelly going to lead lap number 2. But pretty clean start overall, except for that one small incident in the beginning here. And then looks like we do have a car off track. I believe that was the 25 car. But coming back into turn 1, Whedon is working on this gap with an interval of only half a second, and he is working really hard trying to get through here as we have a battle for 5th position. and Kahil Netrabov and Gary Schneck. These two looks like gonna rub fenders a little bit, and looks like Kahil Netrabov is going to keep that 4th position. Falling back all the way down to 10th, Michael Mangahan currently riding by himself, staying clean. John Griffin behind him in 11th, 12th, Louis Ganaveo, 12th. Jonathan Merchant, 13th, Norbert Perskel. Oh, I'm just butchering these names. I really apologize. And Richard Johnson will be 15th. And this year, kind of your back markers right now, is there's a huge gap between like 12th and 11th here by a few seconds. But let's get back up front. Mike Kelly, again, pulling away from the field just like the start. But Carter Wheaton's got some issue in his mirror as Jeff Jacobs is holding that gap and keeping the pressure down on him. And looks like we do have a lap car the traffic's going to have to navigate by in just a few turns here. We do not know what car that is. It is DJ Powell, currently sitting in 19th position. We already had 4 retire. I know Dave was mentioning in chat that his VR headset crapped out, so that's why he's ending here. But we have lost 3 cars so far, which is not bad considering we had a huge field as DJ Powell gets a little bit loose in the leader. Mike Kelly looks like he's going to get a little bit loose, corrects that. And that's going to open the door for Carter Wheaton to potentially make a move here in the next few turns. Move up into the lead, especially with Powell up there as the lap car. Going to potentially slow Mike Kelly down. And we pretty much have a conga line of 5 cars pretty much all close together as DJ Powell moves out of the way for the leaders. Respectful move by him, but there's still going to be... We're going to want to keep an eye on this because like that group of 3 cars is going to be right side by side with them as they come through the turn. And this always gets a little bit interesting as we have lap cars that are slower. Looks like that's not going to be an issue for him, and he's just going to pull on the right side and let everyone by. Good work by him. Anyways, getting back up front, Mike Kelly has some issues as Carter Wheaton gets a nose ahead of him coming into turn 3, and it looks like Carter Wheaton, our new leader, Mike Kelly 2nd, 3rd, Jeff Jacobs 4th, Kahil Natrabov, and 5th, Gary Schneck. And we have some contact as Mike Kelly gets loose, gonna spin out at the 25, and that's hit the 41. Big wreck. No, that was not Mike Kelly. I do not know what happened back there. I thought Mike Kelly got loose. Let's rewind a little bit here. Yeah, Kelly does get a little bit loose coming in there and just kind of pogos off a few cars there. That's the 2nd incident we've seen with issues there, but looks like Gary Schneck had to retire, but he is still saying he's in the lead. It looks like Carter Wheaton just took that away. And now Carter Wheaton, the number 22, he will be the new leader of tonight's race, followed by Jeff Jacobs and Kahil Natrabov. I am trying to say his last name a bunch of different times. I just cannot get it out. So, Kahil, I apologize. Gonna have to leave in the comments how you pronounce that name here, because that is one heck of a name. And falling back 4th place, battle for 3rd here. Excuse me, 5th or 4th, Zachary Rubin and Mark Wood. As looks like Zachary's got a lot of damage on the front end of his car here. I think he may have had some contact with the car on earlier. Even Mark Wood has a little bit of damage on that right side there. And it looks like we got some more. John Griff just hit 0 miles an hour. Oh, Jonathan Merkinson And no, Darren Treichel, number 24, another incident caused in that left-hander. Lots of issues in there. It must be one of the more difficult turns on the track for these cars to handle. Again, there's a lot of weight transfer going on in that turn and gets the car a little bit loose. As we come down 9 minutes in, looks like Jeff Jacobs could potentially make a move. Now they have a gap of 0.6 seconds. Want to keep our eyes on this battle here for the lead. Looking at the lap times, Jeff Jacobs was 1/10 of a second faster than Carter Wheaton last time by. And battle for third, Mihail Natrobov and Zachary Rubin, as these two are battling it out. Let's ride along with Zachary Rubin on the front of his car and look at some in-car action as he's going to try to make the move into third. The sim has so much detail, you can even see the brake disc turn red. As you can see him getting dimmer. And we'll see once he comes into turn run how red those brake discs get. So a pretty good angle we have right here. And you can see those brake discs get red as he hits the brakes here. Yeah, it's just crazy how these things look at night, though. Especially in the Daytona prototype cars like that where you race at Daytona at night. Oh, they look crazy. And they even illuminate a little bit of the track. But let's just watch him come through here and just watch those brake discs get red hot. That was on board with Zachary Rubin. As we have a battle for the lead, Carter Wheaton and Jeff Jacobs getting a little bit side by side. And this battle is shaping up. Lots of good battles here. The cars really aren't grouped together here, but they're in their little packs and clans, to kind of say there, and they are running pretty close together. So great racing around all the track. Pulling back all the way to 6th place here, Michael Monahan. I believe he had an issue earlier on in the race, and the 05 is currently in a battle for or defending that 6th place position and even trying to get up in the top 5. There's Mark Wood up there. A pretty good trio of cars right here as they come up through one of the last turns. No expert on this track here, but I have driven it many times in iRacing, so I kind of know how it feels. It is a really good track. Looking at some of our aerial cameras here as this 3-car trio drives into turn number 1 here. You can really see how long the straightaway is, and you really can see these cars are moving, but they're really not going as fast as it looks for some of the shots. These cars generally go about 120, I'd say, on this track, and you can even see a little bit of the rubber getting worn in. Let's get back up front for our lead battle. Carter Wheaton and Jeff Jacobs still battling it out, guys. Almost halfway through our race here. We got about another 20 seconds until we hit halfway through tonight's race. So as we hit halfway, let's take a run through our top 5 here. Again, Carter Wheaton in the lead, followed by Jeff Jacobs, Mihail Natrobov, Zachary Rubin 4th, and Mark Wood rounding off the 5th position in the 41 car. But I don't know how long he'll be able to hold 5th because Michael Monahan is right behind him. And I think he's thirsty. He doesn't got a lot of damage on the car, the 05. And might try to make a move soon, pull out of the draft and make a move. And side by side, looks like Michael will get that. And fifth place position from Mark Woods, so he is a new car in the top 5. But let's get back up to this lead battle, and they are still close together, and these guys have been battling it out. I hate to, seems like a short time, I'm getting 15 minutes, but they have been battling it out for most of that time here. Now, I know a 25-minute race does not seem like a lot, and that might be how it seems, you know, in a Forza game or something, but this is, in iRacing, you know, it takes a lot of mental concentration, and a lot of physical concentration, you know. People have wheels set up, so they gotta focus on shifting, especially in this car. You got an H pattern, you gotta use the clutch and whatnot. So, it really is physically and mentally draining, sim racing is, believe it or not. Great to see everybody viewing the stream tonight. Good to see this debut of this new series, and it is nothing short of amazing here. And let's fall back to Peter Ensor. I haven't talked about him all race at all. He is currently sitting in the 7th position. And the number 49, just kind of riding. It's got a little bit of damage on the front end. But he is just riding in 7th. And battle for 5th still. Michael Monahan and Mark Wood. These two are battling pretty close together. For this 4th place position. Cahill's got Zachary Rubin in his mirror right there, and these guys are running pretty similar times at the moment. And got this car duo here battling for the lead, Carter Whedon and Jeff Jacobs. Yeah, it's crazy how many of the virtual spectators show up for iRacing here. All the campers and everything. But I mean, I gotta say, iRacing does do a great job of rendering in the realism. You know, the fans and whatnot, the RVs, the campers, tents, whatever. Especially on the newer tracks. You know, Summit Point came into the service a long time ago. I mean, probably 2010, 2008, around there. But on the newer tracks, for example, Circuit of the Americas, Monza, a lot of tracks like that. As we have a car blowed up, as Michael, not Michael. There's some cars blown up, and I'm trying to figure out who it is. That I believe is Jim Karamanis, who just blew up. But anyways, back to what I was saying is many of the newer tracks in sim, you know, like I said, Monza, Circuit of the Americas, Le Mans, Nürburgring. They actually have 3D crowds instead of the 2D crowds, and they look a lot more realistic, and they even move a little bit. So it's really crazy how much detail iRacing can put into their sim, make it look very real. Now, if I was standing 20 feet away from my screen right now, I would have a hard time deciphering whether this is real life or in sim. And coming down to 8 minutes remaining here. Let's take a fall back here to this 57 car. Zachary Rubin actually is having an engine issue. So now he must have downshifted too fast or something, as he's going to hit pit road. I thought it was Jim Karamanis, but no, it's Zachary Rubin who has issues. He will hit pit lane. Back up front, Carter Whedon still our leader tonight. And I don't know what to expect really at the end. I don't really, again, I've never really seen these drivers race before in sim, so I don't know how aggressive any of them are. So not really sure how aggressive these guys will get when the last closing minutes of this race. Uh, Bill Keeney, currently sitting in 11th. Haven't talked about him at all. And the teal and black machine just kind of riding. Kind of got a battle for 12th and 13th. Darren Treacle and Richard Johnson. And 24 car is off track. Kicking some dust up, dragging it onto the track. But let's get back up front with our leaders here as Kahil Natrabov has closed that gap. And pretty much you got a 3-car trio for the lead. And there is a car back there, but I do not... Yeah, they just not competing for a spot. That is a lap car, but now we have 3 cars contending for the victory here tonight. Now, I did post a question down in the chat. Who do you think will win? So feel free to comment whoever you think you'll win. Of course, do it before the end of the race. And coming down to 5 minutes to go. And looks like it's leaders here. This trio coming into turn 1 on the 57 car, the car that is a lap down. It is Zachary Rubin again. Okay, so they must have resets here, and he is kind of back where he was. He's a lap down, but you know what? He can still sort of technically kind of contend for this win here. As we are coming down to the last few laps here, and we're going to keep our eyes on this lead battle here, because Jeff Jacobs can make a move at any time this moment, even Kahil Natrabov. Alright, we got 1 vote for Carter. Now, I hate to say this, but there has been a little curse of the Sim Racing Streams jinx here, when someone in chat or either I say someone's gonna win, they kind of wreck. So hopefully you didn't jinx them there. As single file line, guys, this is gonna get very interesting very quickly. Just keep our eyes on this battle here. Let's see something else shaping up, but pretty much this is the biggest battle on track. You know, besides we have this battle for 5th position here between John Grift and Mark Wood. Again, Mark Wood was up there, I believe. He was up in 2nd at some point, but he has fallen back a little bit, and he's competing for 6th or 5th position. Excuse me. Let's get back up front though, because I believe we should have 2 laps remaining. Now, once they get this here. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Jeff Jacobs getting a little bit aggressive. As he could potentially get the white flag next time by. Which I think we will. So now again, kind of how this happens, there's a time race. I'm not 100% sure whether if the overlay software detects that it's the last lap, but the flag bar at the top left, it will turn white, but I'm not sure if that's necessarily the last lap. So it kind of gets a little bit confusing, especially when it's like this, when it's really close. But I do believe as soon as they run out of time, they will be done. So next lap, I believe, will be the white flag. So we're going to keep our eyes on this battle for the lead here. Right along with Jeff Jacobs a little bit as he is contending for his win here. And Carter Wheaton, who is trying awful hard to defend him off. Here's Whedon's car. Oh, nice rear shot. Yes, folks, I believe this is the last lap. And we should get the white flag as soon as the time runs out here. So Carter Wheaton gonna have to work hard as we have a trio of cars working hard as he looks like he kind of pulled out of his line a little bit, but not enough to make a move here. This is where it's going to get interesting. Again, this isn't a track like Watkins Glen where you have massive straightaways and massive time to draft. This is a very, very short track. Not a lot of room for the draft to kick in. As we are seeing a move for the lead here. No, we can't make it stick, but that choke right there is going to open the door for the 19 of Kahil Natrabov. And these three are going to be battling it off, but yeah, it looks like Jeff Jacobs falls back to second and only got a few turns left, I believe, until we get... I believe we will get the white flag this time, and we should get the white flag right about now. Alright, we got someone who posted the translation of his name, and we don't know, we do not have the white flag yet, I don't believe. Folks, I think we might have one... Nope, I think it just switched over to white flag. No, not yet. I don't know. I think you might have one more lap after this one. No, this is the checkered flag. And Carter Wheaton going to win his first ever WDCR SCCA race. Here at Summit Point. So congratulations to Carter for taking home the first win. Well, this is actually pretty crazy. We had two Carters who won last week, or excuse me, on Monday. Carter Kundinger won overall in the HPD class in ASRC, and now we have Carter Wheaton, a winner here at Sim Racing Streams. So good to see that. Two Carters, so a Carter duo. Will Carter win the next race? I guess you guys just gotta come and check out the next one here. But we're gonna get ready to run through our results here once everyone finishes here. But Carter Wheaton, congratulations to him for taking home the win tonight. And we should go around these laps here once the session though everyone has finished here. Should be getting ready here for the night's race. All right, so run through the results here from tonight's race. Carter Wheaton taking the win home tonight. Congratulations to him. He led 14 out of the 18 laps. So definitely the class of the field tonight. Great job defending off Jeff Jacobs and Kahil Naderboff. I used the thing in chat that Gary Lou posted. Anyway, let's move down through our running order. Kahil Naderboff, he finished his second. Third, Jeff Jacobs. Fourth, Michael Monahan. Fifth, Travis Trussell. Sixth, John Grift. Seventh, Mark Wood. Eighth, Peter Ensor. Ninth, Louis Gavagano. 10th, Louis Alessi. 11th, Darren Treacle. 12th, Richard Johnson. 13th, Jonathan Murkison. 14th, Nobert Pertzkel. 15th, Zachary Rubin. 16th, Eric Jones. 17th, Mark Philcroft. Jacob Hunt in 18th. 19th, Bill Keeney. 20th, Mike Kelly. 21st, DJ Powell. 22nd, Gary Schneck. 23rd, Jim Carmanis. 24th, Shane Johnson. 25th, Daniel Richardson. Again, 26th, disregard that. I joined by accident under the race session. So coming home at 26th, that would be Anthony Toussaint. And 27th, we have Dave Fitzgerald. And that is your results from Summit Point. Again, this is Sim Racing Streams, broadcasting the series live. Again, we're going to miss next week, but we'll be on the week after that for the next 3 weeks. So thank you for tuning in tonight, folks, and have a wonderful night.